It's a crash. Bitcoin is nuking. That's right. It's finally broken the range to the downside. Today, we're just going to go over a bit of a price action update and give targets to where we think Bitcoin is going to go in the future. So without further ado, let's jump right on into the charts and assess the damage of today. So just going to clean up the chart as usual. Here we have this daily range of consolidation that we talked about in previous videos, and we have received our first candle closure lower than all other candle closures. Now, why is this significant? This is essentially confirming that we've broken out of the range, and we've confirmed it by the basis of a candle closing the daily below all these other closure levels. We also have this slight change, this inclination angle, this cyan kind of color coming in on the BBWP, which measures volatility. We also see that RSI is no longer flatlined. It has dove into the bearish control zone. So these are all indicators as to basically we could see a lot lower. However, I want to go over a couple things as to why there still are bounce opportunities to take place. Don't just blindly long short the breakdown here. You want to see several candle closures. Actually, I give it away on the chart right here. If you get 3 settles under this level, 89.5, then your target becomes down here at 84K. This is the first settlement or first daily closure below this particular breakdown level of 92.5. So if we get 3 closures below 92.5, I'd say our target's 89.5K. However, I speak a lot about deviation on the channel, and if you watch my latest video, you remember that we created a range in the 4 hour. I'll just re-highlight that range here. Kind of went something like this, where we talked about this low being a deviation where we would take the highs, which we did. Now, essentially, this play that happened where the lows were swept and we made slightly new highs before heading lower. This play we now can apply, that happened on the 4 hour time frame, we now can apply to the daily time frame. So we jump on over to the daily and we see that we broke down, we've closed below. So if the next period closes back inside the range, and the next period being the daily, since we're on the daily time frame, if the next candle closes back inside the range, then I would say that this move here, this sell pressure, was deviation, and your volatility expansion will then lead to upside price action. Where would upside price action go? Well, it would go to take out these equal highs. So essentially you reclaim the zone. Say you longed at that point around 92.8K. You'd be targeting the highs, which would be around a 14.5% move. If you go for the actual wick, it's an 18% move. So that is your target. Invalidation would be below the previous wick low, which would be 3%. So that is your potential, not financial advice, trade right here. Here is your potential gain to the upside and your stop loss. So you can see that's a 5-to-1 risk reward. Pretty nice trade if we get that reclaim and we close back in the zone. However, targets to the downside are as such. Your next level of resistance, or support rather, 89.5K, which is where this wick almost came in, and then 84K past that if we should break. So those are the levels to the downside and the levels to the upside, should we get them. The way I'm playing this essentially right now is we've had quite a lot of selling happening since the top. I would like to see this reclaim, and I would love to play that bounce because of the high risk reward level. To the downside, I'm less likely to take large position sizes because even though you're getting confirmation of going lower, if you get several settlements under this range low, even with that confirmation, you've already sold off from the high at this point, 16%. We know this cycle kind of has a 22% on average correction, and you've already completed 16% of that. Therefore, you only have, wow, did I fail math in high school? No, just kidding. You only have 6% more to go to the downside as opposed to that 15% to the upside. So I am looking for that reclaim, as it's a far better risk reward to take the upside trade than to take the downside trade, especially after selling off. And that's why we have this long bounce zone, like we labeled it here. If you get a bounce here, that is when you go long. That's the nominal opportunity. And you definitely be targeting where you originally broke down. So we can still leave these things on the chart here for future reference. But that's all I have to say about Bitcoin. Looking at Ethereum here, we mentioned that Ethereum, if it were to break down, it probably wouldn't sell off as hard as Bitcoin due to its BTC ETH pairing. As you can see, Ethereum is now testing its range low. I got to zoom out so you guys can actually see this here. Its range low being this symmetrical triangle on the weekly. This blue line is what we're coming into test here. So any bounce here, again, great opportunity to go long, to ride back up to the midpoint, eventually take the top of the range should we turn bullish again. So those are the two things I'm watching out for here. I wish I got this video out like, I don't know, 25 minutes sooner, because you would have seen the red on the board. Essentially everything was down 10 to 15%, at least that I actively trade or watch or invest in. So typically when you get these heavy down days, if buying steps into the market, then that's the best time to go long. Be greedy when others are fearful, so to speak, from Warren Buffett. So that's about all I got to say today. A nice quick little update on Bitcoin. Hopefully you guys have been staying safe in the market, and look forward to this deviation play in the coming week. We do have a few other things in the background, like coming into the end of the month. We'll discuss those in a future video. Anyway, this is Crypto Neil signing off. If you're new to the channel, thanks for the subscription. I really appreciate it. And if you want to see any additional content, please leave a comment and I'll be sure to make a video about it. And if you haven't checked out my shorts, go check out those videos. It features my computer build. Actually, the next video is going to be of me upgrading the computer. So the super tray computer will be complete. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there. Peace out. Much love.